Life sometimes can take a very funny turn. But, regardless, can love be stopped? Even if you are 50 meters away from one another? I guess we are about to find out, from the story of Yu Marin and Lai Shiquan. In the opening scene of Love in 50 Meters, we see when Yu and Lai are still kids and attend the same school. Yu, the captain of her house, is giving a speech at the sports occasion, while Lai admires Yu from afar. Soon, it is Lai's turn to throw the baseball from a great distance, but surprisingly, the ball ends up hitting Yu on the head, causing her to fall to the floor and lose consciousness for a while. While others are worried about Yu, the game master is more concerned about the distance the baseball has covered. While Yu is opening her eyes, the game master arrives beside her where the ball lies. He ignores the unconscious girl and announces happily that the distance covered by the ball is 50 meters. The whole house celebrates the 50-meter record, as it refreshes the school record for the second time. The next scene then shows Yu Marin years later in the hospital, about to get information from someone who has had an accident in a construction project. The victim refuses to talk to every other reporter because they are lousy and he does not trust them. When it is 1 p.m. and every other reporter is chased out by security, Yu pretends to be sick and enters the ward. With her sweet and compelling words, the victim explains that the accident happened due to the negligence of the company. Yu records all the explanations given by the victim and brings them to her office. She is appreciated by her boss, who advises everyone to be like her because of her unique skills. Most of her peers are happy for her, but Xiao, who is also one of the best journalists, does not like the love shown to her. Yu is flattered by the commendation of her boss. Don't we all love to be commended for a job well done? Moreover, in the corporate world, this gives way to being promoted. The next scene then shows Yu's boss informing her she will be sent to New York to complete the story she is working on, and Yu is excited after receiving the news. Back at home, Cheng Feng, Yu's housemate, who is an astrology consultant, is on a video call with a guy who comes to her for consultancy. Yu enters and switches on the light, making the guy see her clearly, and he complains that her facial appearance is different from what is in her image, and calls her a fake. She gets angry and ends the call. While Yu is trying to pack her bags, Cheng enters and starts probing her about the ways she handles her journalism, not leaving any chance for a love life. Cheng believes it will be hard for her to find a man if she continues the way she is handling her life, but Yu disagrees with her. Cheng starts analyzing Yu based on her differing beliefs and zodiac signs. She believes she is about to enter the worst month of her life and should not go on the trip, but Yu is not interested in what she is saying. After so many back and forths, she gives Yu a bracelet with a tiny bell by the side. Cheng explains that Yu should run from anyone close to her when she hears the sound of the bell. Yu takes it. The next day, Yu's boss informs her about a request from a journalist station in Shidu Town, a countryside. She has been selected to go to the location. This makes Yu wonder about her move to New York, only to receive the sad news that Xiao has been given the slot to move to New York because of her connections, which will give her an edge in an interview. Yu is very sad about this development, and does not want to accept the journalist job in Shidu Town. But after Xiao mocks her for trying to compete with her for the company's new journalism show, Yu then goes back to accept the job at Shidu Town, because she likes challenging herself to succeed against all odds. On her way to Shidu Town, while almost getting there by bus, the bracelet on her hand sounds, and immediately the bus breaks down. This requires everyone to get off and find their own way. When Yu gets off, Lai Shiquan, her former schoolmate, sees her, and he approaches her with his farm bike, since he immediately recognizes her. Yu believes he is trying to strike up a conversation with her because he recognizes her as a reporter, and she walks away fast. But while he is about to explain to her that he recognizes her from school, his bike runs over a stone, which splashes dirt on Yu. While she is trying to find her balance, she falls into the mud. What a catastrophic encounter. Yu gets to the new station late and dirty, and she enters with disgust in her heart. Those that were supposed to work with her, Da and Momo, at first think she is a zombie because of the way she looks, and she has to explain who she is before they calm themselves and allow her to take the lead. Yu retires to her room, and she remembers the last call she had with her mom, where her mom advised her not to rest until she achieves her aim as the host of the new show. She believes that only a successful career will make her go far in life, except she wants to remain small and unsuccessful, like her dad. The next day shows Yu in action with her team, as they are about to film the annual dragon boat race. Getting to the location, her team is about to sit down and eat, and she forces them to start working. After all, her mother says she must not rest until she comes out victorious. Meanwhile, Yu also wants to look professional, despite being in a muddy place, by wearing heels and removing the sneakers she is wearing. The show begins, and her team starts recording the dragon boat race. While recording, Yu notices they will not be able to film the finish line from the spot they are in. Then she notices that there is a boat by the shore, and decides to use the boat to get to the finish line as she keeps recording. While she is recording, she realizes the boat is not able to move fast enough, and when it gets to the middle of the water, it gets flooded. The boat driver dives into the water and leaves Yu alone in the boat. Yu then falls into the water. Fortunately, Lai, whose family farm team is a competitor in the race, sees her when she is falling, and he dives into the water to save you. Momo takes it upon herself to film you falling into the water and being saved by Lai, despite Da trying to stop her. When Yu is regaining consciousness, she starts getting faint flashbacks of when she was hit by a baseball in school, and how she was surrounded by many pupils. A similar situation is repeating itself, as people are worried if she will be alright when she wakes up. Despite Lai diving into the water to save Yu from drowning, his team wins the dragon boat race competition. When his family's name is announced as the winner, Yu remembers when Lai Shiquan's name was also mentioned when she was in school. Everyone leaves her alone, and she starts remembering all the terrible memories she has of Lai, falling from the stage when he came near her, farting in public, and getting told by a girl who divines that Lai Shiquan is the curse of her life. So, she is advised to always stay far away from him, to avoid terrible occurrences. This seems to be a nightmare that comes to life, so she calls Cheng to explain the situation. Cheng is worried for her because of the unfortunate incident, and believes that if, after 10 years, they still run into each other, then they have both been cursed for eternity. This is when Yu notices Lai is staying close to her. He calls out to her from the window. But just at that moment, the light in her room starts blinking. Cheng advises Yu to start packing her bag and come back home, because things will only get worse. To prevent more catastrophic events, Yu enters her inner room to stay away from Lai. Yu decides to get into her investigative mode. She sets out to find out what triggers the curse between her and Lai. She gets a rangefinder, and after several analyses, and measuring the reliable safe distance between herself and Lai, she realizes they need to be 50 meters apart for her to be saved from the curse. The whole process of measuring even gets tiring for Lai. The next day, Yu teaches her team how to be better journalists. Da and Momo are not participating well in what Yu is teaching them, and while Yu is about to probe them further, she receives a call from her boss on how she might be able to beat Xiao in the show. Her boss tells her to get a story about the Shiquan organic family, as the topic is hot, and many people do not believe it is truly an organic farm, as they claim. This reeks of disaster, because she has to keep a distance from Lai while working on his family's farm. This gets Yu excited, though, as she will do anything to win the show over Xiao. So she and her team head toward the farm. But while she is on the way, her bracelet begins to make a sound again. Then she sees the cause. Lai is just ahead. Yu then urgently brings out her rangefinder to make sure she is not within 50 meters of Lai. Momo at first gets afraid that Yu is about to shoot Lai, before finding out it is a rangefinder. Her team thinks they are going to interview Lai, but Yu lets them know that the person they are to interview is the grandfather, who has not granted any journalist an audience before, according to the internet. Getting to the grandfather, they are chased away with different farm equipment without giving them any listening ears. Now they know why he doesn't grant any interviews. This encounter makes Da believe that journalism is dangerous, but Yu encourages him that the more people are against it, the more valuable the news. She is determined to get the news. She employs different strategies to interview him, but they keep chasing her away. At one point, Yu creates a distraction with Da, enters the piggery with Momo, and starts recording the piggery while trying to hide from people. Momo, on the other hand, is also streaming on her phone to show how everything is going. However, Lai sees Yu and Momo and tells them to leave. Yu and Momo end up running away, not because they are afraid of Lai and his dog, but because they want to be 50 meters away from him. Even when Yu and her team try to disguise themselves like a cow, they are still intercepted by Lai, and they still run away because of the 50-meter distance. Despite all this, Yu keeps getting encouragement from her boss that she should not give up, and find out the lies about the farm. Meanwhile, at the farm, Lai and his grandfather discuss the journalist, and his grandfather discovers the leader is his classmate. Lai knows the reason why the grandfather doesn't allow journalists, that they do not understand the language of plants. At night, Yu tries to break into the farm warehouse to see if she can find artificial fertilizer, but by mistake, she scatters so many products after being hanged by a hook. The next day, Lai sees that the warehouse has been cleaned up, and checks the camera to see that it was Yu. This makes Lai realize how desperate Yu is, and how far she will go to get the news. The next scene shows Yu speaking with Cheng. Cheng explains different zodiac signs and what is happening to her, while Yu nurses the wound from the previous night's event. This is when Yu receives a call from Lai. He invites her to the farm, if she wants to get the interview. Even though Cheng advises her not to go, Yu shows up at the farm, because she needs the news. Lai then sends a little boy to give Yu a walkie-talkie to communicate, without passing the 50-meter boundary. He is aware already that she is keeping her distance from him. Lai explains to Yu that the reason his grandfather has not granted them an audience is that they do not understand the language of the plant, and therefore Lai takes Yu to the farm to plant the vegetables, to understand the language. It all seems like a joke to Yu initially, until she sees that Lai is serious. Well, unknown to Yu, she is about to delve into the world of farming. Yu starts planting the vegetables, but after a few days, they all wither away. Lai, knowing what will happen, has already placed a different seedling for her to plant again. Yu goes to the internet to research on how to plant vegetable seedlings. She plants again and also waters the plant. At first, it looks as if they will survive, but they all wither after a few days. Lai then brings another set of seedlings for Yu to plant all over again. While shooting some videos on the farm, Yu steps on the waste from an animal and remembers that it can be used for fertilizer. She then uses it to plant her next set of seedlings, feeling excited that they will be good. Yu gets excited after noticing that this set of seedlings did not wither like the previous ones. Lai sees her excited while passing, but her excitement is cut short as a leech climbs on her body. At first, she calls Lai to come over and help her, but when she remembers the 50-meter curse, she changes her mind and warns him to stay back. Lai then fills the bottle in his hand with animal urine, before throwing it to Yu. She uses it to remove the leech before realizing that what she poured on her body is urine. This makes her angry, but at the same time, she starts feeling some emotions toward Lai. For her next line of action, Yu gets on a call with Cheng. The purpose? She wants to know if there is a way to break the 50-meter curse. This is because she already likes him, and wants to be able to move closer to him. What a sad twist of fate. Cheng shows her a spell that can only happen once to break the spell. But she did not fail to see that Yu already liked Lai, and cannot believe it. The next day, Yu is at the farm and sees that the whole set of vegetables has already been eaten by pests. She is disappointed and angry that all her efforts are a waste. Seeing Lai from afar bringing another seedling, she tells him angrily that she is tired, and she quits as she leaves the farm in anger. She feels Lai has just been fooling around with her. Later that night, Lai calls out to Yu through the walkie-talkie to explain the situation to her. What she experienced is what they experienced in the first decade of the farm, after trying organic farming. However, based on what Yu has seen online, she believes that it is impossible to grow vegetables organically. Lai is disappointed that after a long time of working hard as a farmer, she is still talking like a journalist who is always looking for negative things, and she has yet to communicate with the plant. Lai then promises Yu that he will take her to the secret of their farm. But first, he sends a bag of rice purely from the farm to Yu through a drone, for her to eat and see if there is a difference. Yu eats the food, thinking she will not like it, but to her surprise, she loves it, but did not want to truly express it to Lai. He implores her to come with him to learn the secret of his family farm, even though she does not want to leave the food. They both head to the farm while still maintaining the 50-meter distance. Lai then lets Yu realize that she has not been observant of the plant, but what she has been looking for is suspicion. He tells Yu to dip her hands in the sand, because doing that will let her know the secret of their farm. The next day, finally after getting to know the secret, Yu goes to the office with excitement, and a different pair of sandals that she uses at the Shikwin farm. Why the different sandals? This is because she has come to realize that the soil on the farm is living soil because of microorganisms, which is why it is still warm in the evening. Their shoes can damage the soil, and this is the reason they are not granted an interview. Yu and her team then wear the newly created sandals to the Shikwin farm to carry out their interview. At last, the grandfather realizes that they have a good understanding of the farm and invites them in, granting them the interview they desire. They go to different sectors of the farm and gather the information they need. Shortly after, they broadcast an interview with the Shikwin family, for the first time in 18 years. Yu receives the curse-breaking charm delivery from Cheng, while she still maintains her 50-meter relationship with Lai, and she continues to receive food through a drone from him. Their relationship has gotten better through the success of the interview, and it seems there is more. Lai also likes Yu and wants to be with her, but she is afraid of the 50-meter curse between them. Through their discussion, she gets to know some of Lai's history as a chef. Yu also gets a chance to enter Lai's workshop behind his house. He keeps his distance still, and there she discovers that Lai is an architect, and he only came back to help his grandfather in the town. Still, all their discussion is done through the walkie-talkie, but the growing affection is undeniable. Yu sees the third place award given to Lai in their primary school, and while probing Lai, she realizes he has liked her since their school days, and the incident between them was the first time she noticed him, despite being the captain of his house. They both enjoy the moment greatly. Finally getting comfortable with him, she opens up to Lai. She has always strived to work hard and not rest, because she believes that the moment she does, other people are getting better than her, and she will not be able to catch up. Lai then proceeds to make the moment even more romantic by switching on the light in the area and playing guitar for Yu. What better way to bask in the moment, as they both enjoy the music. Yu is mesmerized by the song and decides to move close to Lai, but unfortunately, after moving close, she gets bitten by a flea, which leads her to the hospital. This incident makes Yu start ignoring Lai's calls. She also receives a call from her boss, telling her the news she found is not what they need, and that Sayak Xiao will be ahead of her if she does not get something else to report. This brings pressure on Yu, and she starts snapping some unflattering pictures from the Shikwin farm during the next phase of the interview. She believes that with this, she can get a compelling story to beat Sayak Xiao, but while writing the story, she feels uncomfortable, as it feels wrong to her. On one of the nights she is working, she reaches out to Lai through the walkie-talkie, and asks if there is any other news she could get. She is asking this so that she can find a way to drop the Shikwin farm story, but the response from Lai is not what she wants. While Yu is about to explain the situation to Lai, she receives a call from her mom. Apparently, her mom found out that she was posted to a small town instead of New York. For the first time in a long while, they have a real mother-daughter conversation. After asking how she would feel if she did not win the new show's competition, her mom advises her to follow her heart. During the call, the power goes off, and Lai offers to help fix it, while she steps out. While Yu is about to step out, she sees the spell her friend sent to her, and decides to hide while holding the spell. When Lai comes in and fixes the light, Yu watches from her hiding place. Lai sees Yu's arrangement of the house and helps her move her leftover food to the appropriate place. When she is about to move close to Lai and express herself to him, the power goes off again, and this makes Yu restrict herself from talking. Lai explains that the circuit board was struck by lightning because it is raining, and he leaves for his apartment. Yu then receives a call from her team about the massive news that can be generated from a landslide due to the rain. Yu then cuts away the spell and rushes to put it on Lai, so that he can help take her to the scene of the landslide. Lai takes Yu to the location, and Yu hugs him while on the bike together in the rain. Meanwhile, Yu feels like her team won't get the perfect video for the news, so she wants to take the camera to the main location. But Lai insists on following her, because he feels it is dangerous alone. They both head to the location close to the landslide, and while Yu is talking, Lai is recording her in the rain. After the recording, they try to check the footage, but as he tries to clean his face with water, the spell Yu put on him falls off. Immediately another landslide occurs, and Lai pushes Yu away to save her. However, she is hanging, and as she is hanging, Lai tries to help her, but she won't allow it. She has had enough, and she believes they can never see one another again, as something bad always happens when they do. Yu weeps, even as she tells Lai never to show his face to her again. Finally, Yu's work has ended in Shidu Town, and she deletes all possible implicating images she snapped about Shikwin Farm, as she does not want to use them to tarnish their image. She leaves the town, and on getting to work, her boss is disappointed in her for risking her life, as safety is the first step to all things. He gives her some days off to relax and get prepared for the competition of the new show the coming week. While she is on her way home, Zayak Xiao starts mocking her again, because she did not get any stories that could top the one she got from New York. Yu goes back home devastated, and while at home, she tries to make the same meal Lai made for her. But while getting the ingredients, people start looking at her as a popular celebrity. She cooks the rice and decides to eat dinner with Cheng and her new boyfriend. They commend her on the delicious meal, but after Yu tastes it, she is disappointed, because it does not taste like the one Lai cooked for her. Cheng lets her know that what she admires about her the most is her determination to always do things and fight till the end. She encourages Yu to fight for the show and not give up. Yu decides to do what Cheng says, and while thinking and checking her computer, she sees that Momo always streams herself all through the events. She calls Momo about the streaming broadcast. Yu then checks Momo's feeds and notices that it is more fun than the news itself, which is what she decides to hand in at the show. Yu cleans off her board and starts using Momo's webcasting as her project. Unfortunately, Cheng's boyfriend broke up with her during this period, while Yu is focused on her presentation. Could the two roommates really be cursed? When Yu is about to go for her presentation, Da calls to inform her that Momo's broadcast is about to have a surprise, and she should make sure she watches it. She turns on the TV there to see if it has started, but when she sees it has not started, she makes sure Cheng is awake to see the show and film it for her, while she goes to her presentation. At the presentation, Yu's colleagues start presenting their news, and Zayak Xiao also shows her report. Meanwhile, back at home, Cheng is feeling sleepy, and when she decides to get a drink, she sees an interview with Lai on the TV. He won an international architectural design competition, the first Chinese contestant to have won. When asked what his inspiration is, Lai mentions Yu, because she never gives up. He urges her to come to their primary school's playground, because he has to tell her something important. After the interview, Cheng starts calling Yu while she gets ready to start her presentation, as the others are yet to be done. Cheng arrives in pajamas just to tell Yu about what she heard on TV. She mentions the house Lai has built, and his request that Yu come and meet him at their primary school playground. This news excites Yu, but, at the same time, she does not want to miss her presentation. She is curious as to why Lai has invited her to their school. After much consideration, Cheng throws a coin to decide whether Yu should go or not. But she does not bother to pick, as she knows what she wants. Yu leaves the hall and hands her presentation to Cheng. While Yu is on her way to her primary school's playground, she remembers how she is the one who truly inspires Lai's designs and all the sweet things Lai has done for her. The moment Yu gets to the playground is the moment she is called for her presentation. Cheng has no option but to reluctantly go to the stage in her pajamas to represent Yu. While everyone is lamenting about Cheng representing Yu in an inappropriate dress, Momo and Da start webcasting what is happening between Lai and Yu. Cheng, who is nervous about presenting, notices the notification, and then decides to show the webcasting to the viewers, especially since the security has been called on her to whisk her away from the stage. Suddenly, the bosses notice the webcast has over 8 million views. They decide to see what is happening. Lai shares his story about how long he has had a crush on Yu, but was not noticed until the baseball incident, noting that it was that same incident that makes Yu see him as a curse. However, fate brings them to meet again, and he realizes how much he wants to be with her. Right in the middle of a board meeting, Yu's mom also comes upon the video from an employee that is watching. Lai continues to express his feelings while moving forward gradually toward Yu, to show he is not afraid of the curse. It gets to a point where Yu is expected to respond, but her response is not what people want to hear. Yu expresses that she is not afraid of the curse, but she is afraid she will expose her imperfections, and Lai will be disappointed. Lai tries to step forward again to express himself, but Yu stops him, shouting that he should not proceed. This causes the whole audience to go mute, but her mom decides to take a step in. Back at the show in Yu's workplace, they decide to leave the hall and end the show. Suddenly they see the gift Yu's mom sent to the webcasting, and she lets her know that Lai is a good man. This prompts so many people to start sending gifts as well. Lai then proceeds to remind Yu of the last lyrics of the song she was not able to listen to. He will always love her, even if she scores below the pass mark. This is a promise, even if she thinks she is not good enough. Yu removes the wristband, as she also moves toward Lai with excitement, while people keep sending gifts and celebrating their love with them. While they are celebrating, the phone falls out of Momo's hands as she happily jubilates, leaving a shocked Lai and Yu staring at them.